So this is my second time recording this. You see, I tried recording this video once where initially this was just going to be about the February news drop for Halo Infinite coming from this blog post, until I came to the realization while recording that I forgot to set my screen recorder to record the blog post while I was reading and skimming through it, and had it set to just look at my webcam the whole time. So instead of just rereading through the entire thing all over again, I'm just gonna look at just these images themselves and leave the blog post linked in the description below if you haven't read it and are curious. But we're just gonna focus on these images that I have up here on my browser, and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about the patch delay for Cyberpunk, and then the possible video game ban. Oh boy, because that's always a fun subject to talk about. But starting off with these images, the first one here right off the bat, man, this one is absolutely beautiful looking. This is downright gorgeous. Just the overall scenery, the way it all comes together, the rock formations in the background, the overall backdrop, the sunset and stars in the sky, the clouds above, the Forerunner architecture, the way the Warthog looks, just the nature, everything here is just fantastic. And this is just a work in progress, and on PC on top of that. And if this is how it is in a work in progress, I can't even imagine how fantastic this is going to look when the game launches, probably in November. And even at E3 this year, when we'll probably see it again then, and we'll probably start seeing some actual gameplay, I'm sure. Hopefully the multiplayer then, because it's been such a long wait. Even though I'm keeping my expectations lowered for this, just looking at this gives me the confidence that the delay has given 343 the time they need to properly sort issues out and to give the game the beautiful visuals that it's deserving of. And looking at this now, it's pretty safe to say that they've definitely done just that. And that tree stump right there that I'm waving my cursor around, that stump is pretty much what I have in my pants right now, just looking at this image, where just like the stump, it's only halfway because the rest is just cut off somewhere. Well, not me, I'm just saying I've got a half chub going on. So it's sort of like a metaphor in a way. And you know, when we see that gameplay, and when we're playing the game and actually having it in our hands to play for real, that's when the half chub is gonna go to a full thing, you know. So I'm definitely looking forward to exploring with these beautiful visuals and environments. And then from there, they have the dynamic lighting system, where the game's gonna go back and forth between day and night, and just seeing the different lighting with all this and how it just all blends together and how it looks great regardless of the day or night setting, because this game is just so comforting to look at. It's just so aesthetically pleasing going off these images, and just knowing that this is the same game that had the Craig meme all those months back, it's incredible. What can happen when a game no longer has incompetent upper management on top of actually having a direction in terms of what the studio is trying to accomplish? When there's actual focus and it feels like the studio knows what they're doing, this is the result of that. And on top of that, getting the proper delay to do all this, they made the right call delaying this game. This was only a good thing. So let's look at the rest. Oh, I have two of these up, whoops. Third image here with the classic sniper rifle, which is now visually upgraded to look like the beauty it is in this game. Oh my god, do you see that detail on the weapon? Yo, that's beautiful. The way the visor looks, again, the way the Forerunner architecture in the background looks, it just all blends in so well. And honestly, this cave formation, I think it is right here. I assume that's what it is, unless that's just like a rock or a mountain shaped a certain way. But I really want to explore this area. Like, I can't even lie, a lot of this really is definitely piquing my interest in terms of exploring it in the game. And then from there, we have this fourth image with the Banshees. I assume these are Bansheed Banshees? Banshees. Banished Banshees? That could honestly be a bit of a tongue twister if used in a sentence. But yeah, these Banshees right here, I'm really liking the look of them. It's definitely a huge upgrade from how the Banshees looked, or just not even Banshees, how the air vehicles looked in the gameplay reveal. You know how the models looked really jittery as you could see them flying across the screen in the gameplay, or just seeing how unfinished they look. Not even just that. Just looking at this image right here, not even in motion, it's definitely pretty safe to say there's been a lot of work done even with just this. So it's so good to see that the time that they dedicated looks to have been absolutely worth it, 100%. And it's nice to see that we are not repeating a Cyberpunk. Which, speaking of Cyberpunk, since we have now completed this part of the video, the Halo section, with this in general just definitely giving me more hope, albeit my expectations are lowered until we get proper gameplay once again. But for right now, my expectations are slowly, there's just more hope. There's definitely more hope. But speaking of avoiding another Cyberpunk sort of disaster, we got to talk about something Cyberpunk related here with patch 1.2. This came out on February 24th, so 2 days ago as of this recording. So I've looked at this before, but I still want to give some thoughts in it. You know, it's like with the Infinite Insider article, or blog, excuse me. You know, I still do want to read it because I still do have things I want to say. And I figure, shit, I'll just put all this into one video instead of having it all be separate. So, yeah, let's get to reading this. While we dearly wanted to deliver patch 1.2 for Cyberpunk 2077 in the time span we detailed previously, the recent cyber attack on the studio's IT infrastructure and some extensive scope of the update mean this unfortunately will not happen. We'll need some additional time. Our goal for patch 1.2 goes beyond any of our previous updates. We've been working on numerous overall quality improvements and fixes, and we still have work to do to make sure that's what you get. With that in mind, we're now aiming for release in the second half of March. It's not the news we enjoy sharing, but we want to make sure we launch this update properly. Stay tuned for more information as the time draws closer. Thank you for your continued patience and support. Which, all I have to say about this is, knowing that this was because of the whole hacking situation and how they just literally could not do any work in the game because of that situation. Like, they were locked out of it, apparently. Like, they couldn't get any work done, and that's why this patch is going to arrive late. And just knowing the ongoing problems with this game in studio, man, what a disaster this has been. This is Fallout 76 levels of disaster. And look, say what you will about CD Projekt Red, like, I dunk on them all the fucking time. I'm not innocent, believe me. Like, anyone who's been here long enough and has watched enough of the content knows, like, I'm not nice to companies within the gaming industry. I'm an asshole. What can I say? I'm a dick. I can be a fucking asshole sometimes. Regardless of that, you still can't get mad at the developers themselves. If you're gonna give anyone shit, it's gotta be the hackers for even doing this. Like, fuck that person for doing that. Like, that was taking it too far. And when it comes to the higher up, keep in mind, when it comes to this launch and how everything's turned out overall, they're the ones to blame. Again, don't blame the game developers themselves. Just the people trying to make the game work, who were put in the worst position. Out of everyone, they've gotten fucked over the most. Don't blame them. Blame the higher-ups for being incompetent and not doing their job correctly. But at the same time, just remember, no one deserved this. It was not deserved. This was going too far. And it's just unneeded stress for everyone. It's unneeded stress for developers. It's unneeded for the game and how they've had delayed stuff. And if we're talking about the gaming community and how they've gotten a completely fucked up product, then they've got to wait even longer for a game that they've been waiting so long for to finally fucking work as intended. 8 years of this shit, only to have this whole situation constantly happening. It's ridiculous. It's beyond fucking stupid. It's retarded. I just don't know how else to describe this. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, man, we've been going through the emotions with this video so far. I gotta say, we started off with me describing an ADHD moment of forgetting to properly record my shit, to being impressed by visuals, to being mad about fucking hacker problems with a game that should have turned out better than it has. Man, you know what? I'm done. I'm over this. It's done! Excuse me. I was having a mental breakdown. But that's besides the point. So, yeah, all in all, this situation is just fucked. This is fucked. And, yeah. Man, I can't wait to see this game finally work someday. But, with that being said, moving on to the third, article of some type in this video with the headline, Lawmaker Proposing Grand Theft Auto Ban Says Video Game Contributes to Carjackings. Retired police officer recently had vehicle stolen in Illinois carjacking. I have not read this article. I've only watched a video about it. But I definitely do want to read this for myself. So let's read a little bit of this. So in Illinois, lawmaker has a new response to the recent surge in carjackings around the Chicago area, banning a popular video game. Oh boy, Grand Theft Auto, which depicts scenes of violent car thefts, robberies, and general criminal activity as inspiration for what's happening in his home district. Oh boy, here we fucking go. Grand Theft Auto is the main issue. He wants to ban the fucking game. Okay, I don't even need to read any more of this, just skimming through this. Yeah, okay, I'm just skipping over. I'm going to the screen because I don't want to look at that article anymore. It's annoying me to look at. But this shit is so stupid. It's so dumb. Gaming has been around for a minute now at this point. But it honestly doesn't shock me that it's still blamed as the target for violence around the world, as if violence wasn't a thing before video games. And on top of that, if you look at the statistics, you'll see that violence overall, crime rates overall, has actually gone down over the last few decades, I want to say, because of gaming. Because people have something to escape through instead of feeling the need to go out and deal with their frustration that way, however it is they decide to do it. Instead, you can get your frustration out by playing a game, whether it be Grand Theft Auto or some other franchise. So they've only benefited more than anything. And the fact that they're still being blamed, it doesn't shock me, because at the end of the day, every form of entertainment has been blamed for violence since the very beginning of time. It's happened with books. It's happened with music. It's happened with pretty much all forms of media in some way. And gaming is just the new target for these fucking lazy, worthless politicians who can shove a foot right up their ass, who really have no place to speak about anything at all, because you know how it is with politicians, regardless of which side it is. Also, just the very lazy parents who fail to do their jobs and have to use a scapegoat to blame all of their faults instead of taking the responsibility for the mistake that they've made. Just being perfectly honest, guys. If you weren't going to properly take care of your kid, you shouldn't have fucking had one. If you're going to blame a form of entertainment for something you yourself failed to do, then that's on you as far as I'm concerned. So maybe learn to take responsibility like a grown adult and do your fucking job instead of blaming something because you're just that fucking egotistical and too prideful to have some humility and see maybe, just maybe, I'm the one at fault, and maybe I'm the one to blame, not a video game that's clearly labeled with a proper rating system. Like, give me a fucking break. This shit is ridiculous. And I hope this ban doesn't go in place. Personally, I don't think it's going to. I definitely hope it doesn't. Yeah, someday we'll be past this point. Gaming's gonna eventually someday reach a point of being old enough. And with the generation of people that are familiar enough with it that now, people aren't gonna really use it as a scapegoat anymore. It's just the older generations who are outdated and don't understand technology, fear it, and refuse to understand how technology is right now are the ones who are scared of it. But at some point, when the oldest generations are the ones who are familiar with today's technology and all that, I think that's when things are going to really start dying down. And I guess the moral of the story is, don't mix entertainment with violence. There's a very clear distinction between entertainment and violence. Do not get that shit twisted. There's a very clear line between both. Don't blame entertainment for your own fucking faults. This shit's just fucking stupid, but that's really all there really is to say, I think, about these articles. So yeah, a mix of different types of stories with this video, with this news talk video, and yeah, I just wanted to talk about all three in one video, knock them all out from one upload, as opposed to making three different videos. Just seemed like that would be pointless, as opposed to talking about all three here in one, a hole in one. But yeah, there you go. Just wanted to make a news video about all this, and yeah, that's really all there is to say. So that being said, make sure to leave a like or dislike, comment, subscribe for future content coming soon, as well as turn on the notification bell and set it to all notifications, and I'll see you all next time. And until then, I'm out. Later.